Hello, I'm Steve Lane. I am a rock and roll musician, and rock and roll is in my blood. I was born with it. It's in my DNA. There's nothing I can do about it. I love rock and roll. Put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll, and hopefully you do as well. I love all types of music, honestly, and I love it on vinyl. I think vinyl is the last pure form of recorded music on the planet. And I'm serious. Hey, how's it going? This is Steve Lane, and thank you for checking out the premiere episode of The Vinyl Loving Musician. So, who am I? I'm Steve Lane. I'm a rock and roll musician, and I got my first album coming out this year. I'm beyond stoked. My childhood dream is finally coming true. I get to have my own album released on vinyl. This is a big deal. This is honestly, genuinely a childhood dream of mine. Not a CD. I've had my music on CD. I've had cassettes. I've had it on iTunes, the streamers, whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters to me is having it on vinyl. All right. So I love vinyl. All right. So let's talk about the elephant in the room. The MoFi Mastering Madness and the three mics. Mike, MoFi Mastering Madness. All right. So Mike in Germany, cool guy. I love his channel, the 45 Audiophile. He claimed to say that this is not a MoFi copy. He claimed to say that this album, the most famous album in American history, well, this and the Eagles' Greatest Hits, 1971 or 72 to 75, their version, Mobile Fidelity's one-step Thriller, has a digital step in it. In other words, it's not all analog. Why is this a big deal? What the heck is Mobile Fidelity? Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs was established in 1977, and they make the premier audiophile pressings on vinyl, CD, and I've got a few Mobile Fidelity pieces. I've got mostly on CD. I had a couple of their albums. I don't know where the heck they are. If I still have them, I don't know. Like I said, I'm rebuilding my vinyl collection. MoFi is great. I've always loved them. I've bought them when I can, and here's the big controversy, okay? So Mike, the 45 audiophile in Germany, claimed that in order for them to make Mobile Fidelity to make 40,000 one-step process is it takes them from the tape to your disc, and that's it, one step. How can they make 40,000 copies of it without destroying the original master tape? They can't. It's impossible. So what do? They have a digital step in the process, and they're supposed to be all analog. What's up with that? Oh my gosh, such controversy. Oh my gosh, you would not believe how many people have made videos about this online. Oh my gosh, some of them are hilarious. I'll post them below. Oh man, the Reverend Rocklin Rollin', oh my gosh, I was dying. He is really funny. Anyway, so Mike at the InGroove, the holy grail of vinyl enthusiasts, and he's an audiophile through and through. The guy has like about a $10.2 million system at home or whatever. It's unbelievable what this guy does. I've been to his store many times. I was just there a couple months ago and I bought some vinyl. I love the guy. I love the place. I love his wife. She's sweet. Well, in a friendly kind of way. They're great people and they really are knowledgeable more than anyone else I've ever known, like ever in my life. And Mike claims that, yeah, Mobile Fidelity is definitely doing a digital step in the process. And oh my gosh, the controversy went nuts. Virtually overnight, I seriously saw about 25 videos, reaction videos to this. And the list goes on and on and on. Now I see like, I can't even count how many people have done reaction videos to this. Now, why is this a big deal? Because if you're an audiophile through and through, that means you love audio. It's your thing. There's such a thing as analog audiophiles, obviously, and we like our analog. We don't want any digital stuff on our albums. But you know what? This MoFi madness has taught me? Nobody can tell. You can't tell. If the finest ears on the planet, including Mike and Mike, don't know, and then they just not figure it out, but they've been listening to it for years, who cares? And you know what? I've been losing sleep over this. Not because of MoFi, I could care less about that. What I could care very much about is the fact that my album is not analog recorded, and they don't like digitally sourced stuff. Well, why not? Donald Fagen's The Nightfly is a digitally recorded album. Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits, their masterpiece album, that's digitally recorded. There's been a lot, Gaucho, Steely Dan, one of the first digital recordings that I ever saw, they're recorded digitally. Okay, I get it, and I understand, I'm an audiophile wannabe. All right, I've got the same speakers I've had since the 80s. They were in storage for years, but it's all right. I just got them out a few months ago when I got a turntable a few months ago. And it's the same speakers I've had since the 80s, and they're B&Ws, Bowers & Wilkins, and I'm used to them. I'm used to the way they sound. If you close my eyes and put me in a room with 5 different speakers, I'd be able to pick out my speakers like that. I'm used to them, and I've got an amp that pushes a subwoofer, and I've got a really nice turntable. It's not a Technics. That's all right. Wifey is not going to let me drop all the money on a Technics. There's no way. And I do have a nice stylus, Audiophile. I love Audiophile. I mean, Audiophile and Audio-Technica are my 2 favorite stylus manufacturers. And if you can't tell by now that something is digitally sourced or has a step in the process that's digital, whatever. And you know what? My album is not analog recorded. I've been losing sleep over this. I'm gonna lose the audiophile community. Oh no, my album's digitally recorded. There's nothing analog in the process. It's fine. It's fine. My producer and I are going to great lengths to make sure that this is a very well recorded album. It's gonna sound great. It's gonna have great fidelity. It's gonna have a lot of deep bass and a lot of crisp highs, but it's not gonna be overdone or over EQ'd. Oh, it's gonna be great. I'm stoked, I'm pumped, I can't wait for you to hear it. Anyway, so the MoFi mastering madness has come to a close because Mike went down to Mobile Fidelity, Mike, In-Groove Mike, and he sat down with the 3 head honchos, or the powers that be, or the top brass, or whatever you wanna call it, and they all admitted, yes, more often than not, there is a digital step in the process when we don't have access to the original master tapes. Now, why is it called Mobile Fidelity Sound Labs, you may ask? I asked this question for years, and somebody told me, and I kind of spaced it out, but they bring their equipment to them. Like when they did the Abraxas album by Santana, it's supposed to be like one of the best albums ever recorded, according to them. They had to have used a digital transfer in the process. There's no way. You can't make thousands of copies of something off the original master tape. It's just not feasible. It's not possible. It cannot happen. It will not happen. So they take a Revox Studer, a really high-end tape machine, and they take it down to wherever the master tapes happen to reside, so they don't have to ship them around. And they go there mobily, Mobile Fidelity, they go down to their studios or the record company or whoever has the master tapes, and they transfer it over to a 1-step process. All right? And here's the thing. I'm glad that this thing is over. Whew, I have literally been losing sleep. Well, okay, not literally. It's been really concerning me that I have a non-analog recorded album. It's digital. What are you gonna do? We're in the digital age. I wanna go analog. I'm old school. I love it. I can't afford it. Neither can my producer. I mean, there's no way. It's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna have a great sounding album. It's gonna be digital and it's gonna be on vinyl. It's my childhood dream and you're gonna love it if you love rock and roll. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the MoFi mastering madness with Mike, and Mike. Anyway, moving on. Well, now it's time for what are we working on right now? What are we working on right now? What are we working on right now? I'll tell you what we're working on right now. It is not I who is working right now. It is Jay who is working right now. Our benevolent producer, our A-list producer, our #1 hit welding producer. Yes, he has had a #1 hit. Well, it's for one day. It was a hit. I don't have a #1 hit. He says technically I had a #2 hit because it was #2 for about a month. So it's all right. It's all right. the studio right now as we speak, currently reworking the songs that we have in our catalog. He has been meticulously remixing and re-recording some parts and restructuring some parts and adding little tidbits here and there. He's been giving it the gleam and glistle that it needs. I want you to know that we are working very hard on making a very clear sounding audiophile album. The stereo separation is going to be great. The instruments are going to be rich and full, and it's going to have deep bass and crisp highs without being too shimmery, and oh, it's going to be great. I can't wait for you to hear it. It's going to be awesome, and you're going to hear it on vinyl. If you don't have a turntable, get one. I'll provide some links below for you to make your life a little bit easier. If you have the means, I highly recommend it. It is so choice. Please get a turntable. So that's what we're working on right now. What are we working on right now? So at the point of sounding cliche, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Why? Because I'm just starting out and the algorithms would really appreciate it. It's really going to help this channel out a lot. And full transparency, this is a shared channel. This is shared between the vinyl-loving musician, who is Steve Lane, and I'm Steve Lane. And Steve Lane has musical content, interviews in the studio, talking about songs that I'm going to be releasing and that Jay's helping produce and blah, 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 blah. And so this is a shared channel. So some of you people are like, why doesn't he talk about vinyl in all these videos? Well, some of these videos are my demos. Some of these videos are music videos. Some of these videos are going to be me in the studio talking. And if it's the vinyl-loving musician, VLM, it will say VLM. It will say the vinyl-loving musician. So please hit like, please hit subscribe. Love you lots. Thanks for watching. Until next time, be cool and keep rocking.